You're listening to EVP Explorations with host Todd Bates, where the unknown has a voice. Each week, we dive deep into the mysterious world of electronic voice phenomenon, uncovering the sounds, stories, and spirits that lie beyond the veil. From chilling audio captures to first-hand accounts of haunted encounters, we explore the tools, techniques, and theories behind spirit communication. But it doesn't stop with EVP. On this show, we welcome everything ghostly. Paranormal investigations, haunted history, afterlife research, and the voices that try to reach us from the other side. Join us as we ask the questions no one else dares to, and share the evidence that continues to mystify the world of the living. For more on upcoming shows, past episodes, and exclusive content, visit evpexplorations.com. And now, here is your host, Todd Bates.
And a good evening, one and all. Welcome, EVP Explorations live right here on the Sacred Spiral Network. My goodness, the week is flying by. Holy cow, this month is flying by. It's already June the 19th. Man, summer is, we're in the midst of it, folks. But we've got an amazing show planned here for you tonight. Wow, do we ever. Sheila Lowe is going to be joining us here in just a little while. And I'll tell you what, there's some things that we're going to learn this evening that are going to blow your mind. They're going to help you in your investigations. We're going to play some of her evidence as well. Also, a very special video throughout the show that's going to come on later. So you definitely want to make sure you tune in for that. Don't want to miss that. It's about communication with something human, yet not human in a way. Very special video. But just a few announcements here, and then we're going to get our guest on here for this evening. Sheila's patiently waiting backstage. But I want to announce to you guys the shop over there at evpexplorations.com is now open. Be sure to go over there, get your gear, get your merchandise, t-shirts, hats, bottle openers. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of good stuff, a lot of useful stuff. Go check it out. And the website's been updated. My goodness, we've got new courses over there. We've got new articles over there for you. The new course that we've got available, of course, opening and closing paranormal investigations. Now that's live over there. It's free of charge for anybody. All the courses over there are free of charge. They are text-based. You read through them, folks. And once you finish, you do get a certificate of completion. There are no tests. There are no quizzes. Okay. These are based on the honor system here. So go through them and learn something. They're really, really good courses. Check them out. Even if you're a seasoned researcher, get over there and check them out. Like I said, new courses, new articles up there for you. Everything's been updated at evpexplorations.com. And coming up here on the 29th, holy cow, people, Ashmore Estates. We're going to be broadcasting live from there Sunday the 29th at 2 p.m. Sunday the 29th at 2 p.m. We're going to be there with, of course, Lisa Crick, Nicole Tito, myself, Sherry. She's going to be there right by my side, along with Christina Bloom, Deidre Sanford, Jeremy Hawthorne, Stacy Berry. Some amazing researchers are going to be out there and mediums. And we're going to try all kinds of phenomenal experiments, folks. And we'll broadcast those to you live, of course, right there at 2 p.m. Now, we're going to be there from 11 to 6 p.m., but we're going to broadcast live with a special episode of EVP Explorations at 2 p.m., January 29th. So be sure and mark that down. That's going to be some fun times. Now, all those announcements are out of the way. Let's get some hellos out of the way. Hello, Meg. Great to see you, hon. Great to see you. Michael Christopher's in the house. How you doing, Michael? Kim, thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much. And of course, Miss Bonnie Boggs. Great to see you. How you doing out there, Bonnie? Holding up over there. We've got some storms out here this way. So you guys hunker down. They're kind of weird, popping up everywhere. John Swinke has arrived, so the show can begin, of course. That's how we do it around here. And of course, my good friend Stanley, good to see you, my friend. James Kelly in the house as well. Goodness, so many great people here. Tom, good to see you. Now, what we're going to do, we're just going to take this quick break, and we come back. Sheila Lowe is going to be joining us here, and we're going to be talking some handwriting analysis. We're going to be talking some electronic voice phenomenon. We're going to be talking communication in general, folks. You don't want to miss this show. Stay tuned. More EVP explorations on the way.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
5 minutes past the hour. Welcome back. It flies just like that, folks. EVP Explorations Live. Those of you just joining us, hello to everybody. And even Alyssa Beaver herself was in the house. My goodness, what a great crowd we got tonight. A lot of fun. Well, let's get down to it here, folks. You guys have been chomping at the bit, so have I. And so has Sheila. So we're going to get some great discussion going here, folks. Joining me is forensic handwriting examiner, author, and educator Sheila Lowe, a powerhouse in her field with over 50 years of experience. Pay attention, people. Period. Sheila has been featured in high-profile legal cases and on major media like Dateline NBC, and her work in handwriting analysis offers some incredibly deep insight into human behavior, personality, and psychological profiling. Again, pay attention, people. Yeah. She's also the author of Reading Between the Lines, Handwriting Decoded, and the Forensic Handwriting Suspense series, where her real-life expertise adds layers of authenticity to every page. Now, tonight we'll dive into the science behind handwriting analysis, how it uncovers hidden truths, and its role in the world of forensic investigation. But that's not all. We're also going to be sharing some actual EVP Sheila has captured. And stick around because we have a very exciting video here we're going to play for you as well. More good stuff coming here, folks. Without further ado, Miss Sheila Lowe. Welcome, Sheila. Great to have you.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you and an honor. My goodness, the experience alone, we're all going to screw up and learn something tonight. That's just the way it's going to happen. Now, as far as the paranormal side of everything, what got you interested? Let's just start right out of the gate here, because forensic handwriting, which we're going to touch on as well and what that is, but how it blends with the paranormal, I want to discuss near the end. Now, your involvement with both, what piqued your interest? Is it your handwriting? Is it penmanship? What piqued your interest in forensics?
Well, I'll just give you my life story in a nutshell.
Yes. Let's hear it.
I came here from England when I was 14, and a few years later, I met a boyfriend whose mother analyzed my handwriting. We were in high school, and she said all these things about me that just kind of blew me away. The amazing stuff. She knew me. One thing she said was that I was stormy, which of course you could probably say about any 17-year-old girl.
Sure.
Was true. That was true. So I got really interested in handwriting. And I started getting all the books I could find on handwriting and personality. And I studied on my own for about 10 years. And then I discovered that I could take courses, and I did, and eventually got certified. This was in 1981. So it was a long time ago. And so I was doing this personality assessment. And in 1985, I got a call from an attorney who said, I'm looking for a document examiner who go to court and testify about a forgery. And I said, well, I don't do that. I do personality assessment. And he said, do you know handwriting? And I said, well, yeah, I've been studying it and working in it for 20 years.
Wow.
And he said, okay, I'll get you qualified. We're going to court tomorrow. Yeah.
Ooh.
And for some crazy reason, I said, okay. And I went to court. And I remember clearly being on the witness stand in voir dire. His partner was doing voir dire. Oh, the guy who called me, the lawyer, it was his own personal case against his son-in-law. So he had his partner voir dire, which, is to ask the witness about their background and experience. And he said, so, Ms. Lowe, is there a hierarchy of opinions in document examination? And I said, yes, because I had studied that the night before. And he said, what are they? And I just and I turned to the judge and I said, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I've just gone blank. And he said, that's okay. It happens to all of us. She's qualified. And that was the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah. So for the past, I continue to do personality assessment, but most of what I do now is handwriting authentication, like in cases of forgery, with a lot of them are family members trying to screw each other.
Sure. I can imagine.
Other things.
I can imagine. That's just a phenomenal skill to have, because I think, you can tell a lot by a person's handwriting, maybe their level of stress, their level whatever during the time. There's probably so many things. What are some key things that stand out? Say you see just a random signature. What are some key things that stand out?
Signatures by themselves are not as useful as signatures with other writing, because your signature is like the cover on a book. It tells what you want the public to know about you, but it may not be the same as who you really are. But I'll give you my own tragedy, which is kind of where we cross over. And that's a good phrase. Back in 1999, my daughter, who was 26 at the time, met someone and was crazy about him and her. And of course, what do you do when your mom is a handwriting analyst? You bring home their handwriting. And he said he would like me to tell him what his handwriting said. He was a federal agent working for the INS, if you remember at the time. I guess that would be Homeland Security now. It's
Right.
Immigration and Naturalization Services. And he was this big 6'4", good-looking guy. And I looked at his handwriting and I just felt my heart sink in dismay, because it was, I talked to him, both of them, about it, that he had an authoritarian style, which means I make the rules, do as I say, not as I do. I'm not going to stick to my own rules, but you will. I said, that's not going to work for her, because she never listened to me and I'm her mom, So, and at this time she was 26. So there were a lot of things in there that disturbed me. And one was the potential for violence, for explosiveness. And I saw in handwriting can give you clues to physiological conditions. And I noticed something in his that made me ask, did you ever have a blow to the head? And he said, yes, I was hit in the head so hard on the job, I was nearly blinded. And he was seeing a doctor for terrible headaches. And they both drank a lot. And it was just kind of an explosion waiting to happen. So I talked to them about all of these things. And of course, she wasn't going to listen. And within a year, he had killed her and himself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And he had a 9-year-old child.
Oh, my God.
It was, a huge tragedy. For me, the fact that he killed himself, that's a good thing, because I have 2 sons, younger than my daughter, but they felt they should have been able to protect her. And so they would have gone after him. So it was It was really, what can I say?
Wow.
But that's where my interest in the paranormal started.
Mhm.
So I had grown up in a cult, a religious cult. I was a Jehovah's Witness from the age of 7 to 35 when I got kicked out, when they told me that I was a danger to the congregation.
Ah,
Yes,
ah,
that's great.
bye.
So this was, several years after that. So the point being that in that religion, you're not allowed to communicate with spirit because spirit must be demons. And
Sure, sure.
don't meditate because if you clear your mind, that leaves space for the demons to come in. So I was
Of
always
course.
scared of that. But after I got kicked out, I met someone who introduced me to psychic phenomena, and I became a psychic junkie.
Wow.
So when Jennifer was killed, that's where I started my real journey.
Sheila, that is amazing. How I I understand, you know, the transformation, the curiosity. I've got to ask, with this and reading these signatures as if you do, as you do you feel that these psychically imprint, that you are maybe a catalyst to this whole entire thing, to where they're working through you to see these things, because you are seeing these things, and that's what's incredible about the whole thing. Now, some people during a great tragedy, such as what happened, this gift is bam pounded right in them. I don't know. It's very interesting what you do, though. Very interesting.
Well, I have been told by some psychics that handwriting for personality was my form of mediumship. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do get feedback, like, people. I'm thinking of a particular handwriting that when I saw it, I immediately didn't like it. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. It's just it didn't resonate with me. But
Hmm.
I'm always trying to be, objective and neutral. And I wrote what I thought was important, because handwriting really reflects who we are. And if you look at handwriting and you go, "Ooh, yuck," you're talking about a person,
Yeah.
and what was it that brought them to, because handwriting reflects the inner self. So what made them that way to write the way they do? And so the the sample had been sent to me by somebody else. It was a gift for this person. And I sent these analysis off, and I got an email back from the person saying, before I even finished the first paragraph, I was in tears, because for the first time in my life, I felt that somebody really saw me.
Wow.
So
See,
I consider it a real privilege to do that.
that's a connection.
Yeah.
That's a connection. And oh my goodness, they're finding you. You're not having to seek them. They're finding you, these connections. That's truly amazing.
Well, I used
That
to do, in the 20 years when I was doing a lot of that, most of my work was with companies who are hiring and making sure that they got, I'd analyze the samples from people on the job or who are applying for a job to
mhm.
see if they were the right fit. But the personal type of analysis, it can really go deep.
And getting into that, real quick, just out of curiosity, I do have a quick question. I have a tendency, and I have ever since I can remember, very bad writing habit, Sheila. I write in all capital letters.
Of course you do.
However, the I have one. The capital letter is always bigger than the smaller little capital letter. Why do I write like that, Sheila?
Well, we were talking earlier a little bit about your background and some of the stuff that you had, and that can be, I mean, there is no this means that in handwriting.
Hmm.
You have to look at the context and the whole picture. But generally, with block printed capitals, which is what you're talking about, Those are people who need an extra layer of protection, emotional
Oh,
protection. So,
uh-huh.
yeah, and it's like you peeling layers off an onion for after years. People may not know you, and even your partner may say, "Yeah, that's true," but you'll say, "No, I'm not like that." It doesn't mean that you're not friendly. It's just, need that shield.
Right. That is so true. That is very accurate. And Sherry would agree if she's still awake. God love her. She had some back problems, but
Oh,
she's good to go. But she would definitely agree to that as well. That's pretty cool. And I got to give a big shout out to Evelyn here. Hi, Evelyn. It's okay. Better late than never. but this is the transition. Getting into this, and I want to take a short break here. And we come back. I kind of want to get into your practice, your methods, what you do out there, and then play some of these samples you have, as well as that special video that we have as well. Got that finally loaded and put up here. It's going to be a lot of fun. What I want you guys to do is stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Sheila. We're going to hear some EVP examples, of course, that she's captured as well. If you have any questions or comments, be sure and jot them down below. And if you're just missing, or if you missed the first part of the show, everything's being archived, folks. Everything can be replayed later on Facebook, YouTube, but the best place to find it is evpexplorations.com. Just click on episodes and it'll be right there. Now, stay tuned. We'll be right back. More EVP explorations on the way.
Introducing The Haunted Voice by Todd Bates, a powerful autobiography that takes you on an unforgettable journey through life's darkest struggles and most hopeful triumphs. From working as a corrections officer to finding himself behind bars, Todd's story dives deep into the battle against alcoholism and addiction, revealing the raw, unfiltered truths of hitting rock bottom. But this is not just a story of despair. It's a story of redemption, recovery, and hope. As a seasoned paranormal investigator and EVP specialist, Todd also opens the door to his chilling experiences with the supernatural, weaving together tales of the paranormal with deeply personal revelations. The Haunted Voice isn't just a book. It's a lifeline for those seeking recovery, a guide for those facing their own demons, and a treasure for paranormal enthusiasts. Available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books, The Haunted Voice makes the perfect gift for anyone looking for inspiration, guidance, or simply an incredible story. Order your copy today and discover the voice that refuses to be silenced.
"21 minutes past the hour, folks. EVP Explorations Live, Sacred Spiral Network. Those of you just trickling in, howdy do. Our guest this evening is Sheila Lowe. We're talking handwriting analysis. Now we're switching gears into a little bit here, a lot of it, really. I mean, if you think about it, Sheila, going from, well, I guess not so much. An actual analysis is analysis, right?
that's right.
Any way you slice it, analysis is analysis. So you have an advantage over most coming in this field. And therefore, your actual EVP findings and analysis would be more credible than most. I just want you to know that. So,
Well,
because you already,
you're giving me too much credit.
nope.
No, because the EVPs I have sent you, I didn't get that Sonia Rinaldi got. And the one that I sent you that I did get was completely spontaneous.
And they all are. They all are, really, if you think about it. But you already going into this knowing the analysis, the aspects, the breakdown of how to do all this, would be more trustworthy than most. We'll just leave it at that. That's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got to have some credibility for the work you've done. Absolutely. And I'm a big believer in giving credit where it's due. But your journey into the paranormal, what are some things that you started doing or knowing, or what kind of nudged you to do certain methods and different practices and things that are really out of the norm, really? What caused you to do those?
After Jennifer was killed, I wanted to know where she was and what was happening. I'd had some mediumship readings, and so I contacted Brian Hurst, who is an amazing medium. He's now retired. But I didn't tell him anything except that my daughter had been killed. I'd had a reading with him about my father, I don't know how much, sometime in the past. And so my brother and I went to his house and had a session with him. And I have a memoir that I wrote about all these experiences, and I put some of the transcript from him and some other mediums, right, word for word from the tape. And he was really astounding. And he described the place where Jennifer and Tom had lived. And then he said, I keep hearing the nursery rhyme, Tom, Tom, the piper's son. He said, well, that was the name of her killer, Tom. And, he just went on and said many things. He said that when she realized she was dead, she was furious and she was trying to hit him. I said, that sounds like Jennifer. And,
wow.
Yeah, she was really upset. So there was that. And then a couple of months later, my sister-in-law said, there's this guy, John Edward, who's going to have a new TV show, and he's going to be in LA. You should go see him. He was having a big forum. And so I thought, I don't know, do I need that? The last minute I went. So there wasn't any time for him to do any research. We didn't have Google back then. This was in 2000.
Yeah.
And that was in May of 2000. And so I was sitting in this audience of probably 1,000 people filling the ballroom. And he came in and he introduced himself. And he said, I'm going to start by telling you about my process. And then he just interrupted himself. He goes, wait a minute. Somebody's rushing to the front and is insisting on being heard. He said, it's gunshots. It's a murder.
Oh.
And I didn't say anything. And I looked around, and a woman a few rows behind me stood up. And she said, it's my son. And he said, no, it's a daughter. And I waited, and nobody said anything. So I stood up.
Oh.
And he said, it happened in February. 2 passed at the same time. She knew who shot her. And a whole lot of other things that he said.
What?
And he even said something that I didn't know until the next week when I spoke to one of my sons who was, they were all close, but the younger son, 5 years younger, they were like twins, because they're two Sagittarians, I don't know. But I told him, and he said, I can't tell you what it is because it was too personal. But he said, you know what that guy said? Well, my sister was laughing at me because she knew I wasn't going to tell you this. And then he went on to verify what John had said. So after that, I just went from one medium to another, and I had a bunch of amazing experiences. And James Van Prague came to my house and taped a show the next year. I know Jennifer was behind that.
My goodness, Sheila, that's amazing.
It was just the way it happened. I knew she arranged it.
And absolutely. And spirit works in absolutely mysterious ways. We all know that. We all have experienced that.
Yeah.
You're experiencing something that is beyond divine in nature for something like that to happen. She's finding a way to come through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she did that at the funeral.
Oh my goodness.
We were
beautiful
walking
to hear.
We were walking behind the hearse, my husband and I, and we got to the top of the hill, and they opened the back, and as my kids and my brother-in-law, the other pallbearers were taking the casket out, all of a sudden we hear this car alarm, beep, beep, beep. And it was the rental car of my brother-in-law, but he wasn't even holding the keys.
No one was even near it.
There she is. But there was many, many signs, like the radio suddenly turning on or turning to a particular song. My brother and I were in the car we're not touching the radio. And all of a sudden, it starts playing a significant song. And just, I have a whole list of things that happen, signs, especially in the beginning.
And those are signs. They're synchronicities. Me personally, I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything happens for a specific reason. I really do, because it just kind of seems to click when you follow that rule, I guess. But to have an experience like that, that would motivate me, I know, to just completely dive into this field to closer communicate with my child. I have 2 daughters myself, Sheila, and I can't imagine losing one of them. I can't. And I would want to maintain that connection. I would want to maintain that communication. I would miss them. I would want to hold them. I would want to do so many things. And that, I think, does that drive you? Does that help motivate you, knowing that you're getting closer and closer and closer to your daughter like that?
Well, remember the movie The Sixth Sense?
Absolutely.
Of course. Well, she, about a couple of months before the murder, she came all the way up. They lived in Orange County and about 100 miles away. And they drove up to get me to go to the movie. And she sat next to me and she kept looking at me and looking to see my reaction because of, my past of not being involved in that sort of thing. And she was really excited about that. But afterwards, I started reading everything that I could. 6 weeks after her death, I was set to host a conference for handwriting analysts who were coming from all over the country. And then after that, my first book came out, and I was supposed to be going on a book tour, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, you have to cancel it." I was like, it's not going to bring her back. And all these people have paid to come to the conference and, their airfare and everything. So we did that. And then I went on this tour, 10 cities. And then at the end of it, Gary Schwartz, who you may know, the name Gary Schwartz, Dr. Gary Schwartz. Okay. So he was hosting a conference, an afterlife conference at the University of Arizona with his then wife, Linda. And so I went to that. And on the second day, after lunch, I went into the meeting room, and I was all alone in the room. And clearly outside my ear, I heard, "Mom, Mom," which was,
Wow.
It was like, I can still hear it. And then I went home and got really sick because I hadn't taken the time to deal with all of this. I got mononucleosis, which I'd had as a teenager, and I was sick. But what I should say is, right after the murders, I started meditating because I read that this is what you need to do to get in touch, meditate. And I was meditating for an hour every day, and I started feeling like I was getting results. Like I was seeing like an old Chinese man as a guide.
Okay.
And then after I got sick, I couldn't meditate anymore. I just couldn't. It just, and it's always been really hard. So the years went by, and then the man I was seeing died very suddenly of a heart attack. And so that kind of got me going again. And I started meditating again.
Good.
And then something else bad happened in here. We had the Thomas Fire, which 1,000 homes were burned here.
Oh, no.
And I could see it from my window. So I think I started having this association with, if I meditate, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, I can see it with the pattern.
Yeah.
The pattern that had happened. But I guess it comes down to, Sheila, how did you feel during meditation? Did it help you?
Well, when I was able to meditate, a lot of times it was frustrating because I wasn't getting anything at all. And I tried automatic writing because as a handwriting analyst, seems like the obvious thing. And in 2017 and 18, I went to Arizona to the Afterlife Research Education Institute symposiums, where I met Sonia Rinaldi and some other really phenomenal people. And she made me part of her, what she called her group of 30 moms. And she got images I think I sent some to you that were just stunning of Jennifer. So
Images.
do you have
I've got yes.
Jennifer in spirit?
Yeah, let me bring that up here. It may mute us here. Let me bring that up for everybody to see.
Spirit world. And even 2 months before her death, she drove 90 miles to go with me to see the movie The Sixth Sense. We all remember that one. And while we were watching the movie, she kept sneaking looks at me to see how I was taking it. By then, I had been excommunicated, disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witness organization. Thank God, my spirit guides got me out of there. My mother stopped associating with me, and now she's almost 92, and she still doesn't speak to me. But okay, so that was a different one. But that was, you heard that sound in the middle of, I was speaking to the global gathering, the Wendy Zamet's group, about, I think it was probably about my book, which Show and Tell.
Yes, get it out there.
Growing from the ashes. Yeah, but that was just that sound. But there are images of Jennifer that you could see. It's not the picture that Sonia had to work with. It's a different picture, but it's the same person.
I must have lost those, or we got a communication mix up between Mark and I.
Okay.
I don't know if I got I've got audio and I've got that video, Sheila. That's
okay. Never mind. I'll send it to you. It's a PDF.
Oh yeah, because you'll be on again. You'll be on again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that meeting, the guy who ran it, Craig Hogan, whose name, he's very well known in the paranormal. He got everybody to, there were 800 people at the second group, 500 in 2017, 800 in 2018. It's a huge interest in this topic.
My goodness.
And he told everybody, we're going to start having Zoom groups all around the world on all different topics. So we want you to tell us what topics you're interested in, and we'll assign you to those groups. So I put my hand up and said, I'm interested in automatic writing. And I'm waiting to get assigned to a group where I can learn about it. And guess what? I got to be the host. I don't
no way.
Yeah, I don't do automatic writing normally.
Wow. That's cool though.
There's some wonderful people in the group, and we're still meeting 6 years later.
If you could really quick explain to the audience. I mean, automatic writing is oh my goodness, folks, it goes so far back. But automatic writing, correct me if I'm wrong, that's basically a channeling, so to speak, and you're seeing images, seeing things in your head, and you're writing them down as quickly as you can. Correct? Is that
that's
the
one
gist of
form of it?
Okay.
When I thought of it a little differently, and I'm just looking for something here that I wanted to share if I can find it, but what I thought was, I'll meditate and spirit will pick up my hand and move my hand to write something. And sometimes, I think rarely, that's what happens. But what you described is more like inspired writing is more common.
I see.
So it can be all kinds of things. And it doesn't have to be handwriting. It could be typing or any kind of communication. So
Ouijas, anything like that, right? Even a Ouija board.
So last November, I thought, I should get serious about this. And so I've gathered some resources, some good tips and tricks, which I'm happy to share with anyone on, how to set things up, and that you should ask spirit questions, and maybe have a candle and a glass of water. And so it was November. I wrote every night for about a month or two. And this was November 29th of last year. And I just started writing about a bunch of stuff. And I noticed that my handwriting was getting more released or looser. Let's see. See, it got kind of messy.
I see the transition.
And then at the end of my meditation, I asked Oh, I don't think that's the right one. Rats. This was really important too.
Oh, take your time. My goodness.
Okay.
This is amazing just to see the transition
Well,
after a
yeah,
meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's
Okay, this is it. I asked, is there a message for me? And this is what I wrote down. And whether it came from my higher self or outside, you be the judge. It said, this is just the first session. You cannot run before you crawl. Come back tomorrow on your knees, and we will be waiting for your next lesson. With love, your team.
whoa. Your guides, your
Yeah,
something.
my team.
Holy cow, Sheila. That's incredible. I mean, do you think anybody can have that kind of experience if they just open their mind enough and just
Yeah.
relax and let the spirit do the work, I guess, when it comes to pen and paper?
Yeah, some people think that you need to do a prayer of protection first. Others say you don't. I think it's all about the intention,
Okay.
you know,
Mhm.
and it doesn't hurt to protect yourself with white light. It's the same as if you're using any tool like a Ouija board or an angel board or anything else, a pendulum. You want to make sure that your intention is to connect with, people there who are on the other side for your highest good. We don't leave the front door open all night for just anybody to walk in.
That's right.
So we'll be the same way because there's bad people in spirit too.
Sure. And, what are a few signs before we take this last break here? What are a few signs? Let's say somebody's in the midst of a conversation and they're writing and something's coming through them but yet they feel different. They feel a bad feeling or so forth. Is that one of the signs to look for? What are some other things they can look for to
I think
maybe
that's
rhythm?
mainly it. If they're giving you messages that make you feel uncomfortable, it's the wrong kind of spirit. And there used to be somebody that came to my group regularly who got up at 4 o'clock every morning and sat in her chair and wrote messages. And she felt like she was picking up things from like different radio stations.
Yeah.
Just odd things. And some of the things were not nice. And so you would, tell those people, spirit people, to go away.
So go with your gut on that. Tell them to go away. Tell them to leave you alone. Tell them to
hit
just
the road.
leave. Yeah, just leave. It's important, folks. You don't want that kind of stuff in your life. You just don't. But
No.
pay attention. We come back. We're going to play some of these files. We got that video coming up here. Everything after the break. More EVP explorations live. And we come back right here on the Sacred Spiral Network. Stay tuned.
Brace yourself for the Paranormal Rockdown, July 18th and 19th, 2025 at the Haunted Broadhead Manor. Friday night, rock out with Dead Amsterdam, Left on Red, and headliner Green Jelly. The music may not be the only thing shaking these walls. Rumor has it the spirits love a good beat. Will you meet one? Saturday, meet paranormal legends like Dave Schrader, Sam Baltrusis, and more. Enjoy thrilling workshops, tasty treats, and a live Zoom Q&A with Dustin Perry. Dive into the ultimate paranormal investigation with expert guides. Or join a spine-tingling seance with Sam Baltrusis. Tickets are limited. Get yours now for an unforgettable weekend of music, mystery, and chills.
"42 minutes past the hour, folks. My goodness. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are speaking with Sheila Lowe, of course. We're talking everything paranormal, handwriting analysis, you name it. We have covered it this evening so far. It has been an amazing show. A lot to be learned. So definitely catch the replay. If you're just tuning in, you can do so right there at evpexplorations.com. All the replays are right there for you. Those of you listening on the podcast side, all your favorite podcast mediums, Apple, all those good folks over there at Amazon Music and Spotify and all that. Just search EVP Explorations, folks, and connect, and you'll see it's that simple. Now, getting back to all the good stuff here, Sheila.
Mhm.
The audio, the evidence, the fruit of our labor that we all work for and that we all hope for. We're going to air some of these that you have. Now, it's important to understand, folks, that with these messages, understand they're not always verbatim. Understand that you may hear something slightly different or completely different. And the thing is with these, and hopefully it's respected all throughout the community as it should be, post your opinions. My goodness, if you hear something, say something. Don't just let it slip by, because it could be something missing in a file that perhaps Sheila's been looking for, or even I've been looking for. There's a lot of EVP I can't understand or make out. So listen to these with a very open mind.
Well,
And go
me,
ahead, Sheila.
let me interject again.
Sure.
The several that have well, her name is misspelled. That's how you can tell in the file name. Those were from Sonia Rinaldi,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not hear the same thing. Do you remember a few years ago when there was a thing going around the internet? Was, do you hear this word Laurel or Yanni? I don't know if you heard
No.
that. Yeah, it was I don't know who.
Big to do.
It was
Trending.
Yeah, the same sound. A bunch of people heard one word, and a bunch of people heard the other word, but it was the same thing, same sound.
Same
So
sound,
I
different
think
words.
it's the same with EVP, and I do not hear, unless somebody else tells me what it says. I am not hearing that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear what anybody else has to say.
Absolutely. And to hear those kinds of things, Sheila, it takes many years of
Yeah.
practice to hear these kinds of things,
Yeah.
to pick these kinds of things out. But I am chomping at the bits here. I am beyond curious. The first one we have here, it's entitled Jennifer. It looks like it says "We Are," and then it cuts it off there. It's B113. Okay, so we're gonna play this here. You want to talk about that after?
I can tell you is what Sonia had titled it is "We Are Waiting for You."
Okay, we are waiting for you, because it cuts it off here in the broadcaster, and that's a shame. They're updates. Okay, so we're going to play this. Let us know what you think, folks. Put it in the comments.
We read from boy 80. 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 We read from boy 80.
That's Sonia's
Now,
translation was "We are waiting for you."
maybe with a very heavy, I hear a very heavy accent in there.
Well,
I hear
she's
it.
Brazilian,
Okay.
Sonia. So maybe that's why.
And, with these captures and things, depending on what kind of equipment too you're capturing them on, folks, they can sound different. For example, you all know I use an old classic cassette recorder still, and my sound is different than a digital recorder, and which is different than one of the new task cams that has zero background noise, which is different than capturing one on your phone or a computer or even a camera.
On the phone.
This was on the phone.
When we were in Scottsdale and we were together talking about it, and she had me ask some questions or say some things, and she captured it on the phone.
Okay, so that would explain the clarity. So you can see by it being captured on the phone, folks, that it is a lot more clear. You're not going to have any background static that you would even in your older digital recorders. It's going to be a lot more clear on the phone. Amazing capture. Now this next one here is entitled Mommy, Sheila. What's this one?
Oh, play if you can.
Okay, sure.
Play the one before that says, "What is this sound?" And let me just set that up.
Okay, go right ahead.
Chris Meredith is one of the wonderful mediums that I went to, and he was in San Diego, and I drove down there. I had a cassette tape This was a few years ago, probably 15 years ago. And the tape was brand new in its wrapping. And I handed it to him in its wrapping. And he sat there and undid it and put it in the recorder and then gave it back to me after the session. And I was on the way home and I put the recorder on. And it's only like a half a second, but just before he starts speaking, you hear this sound. And then I send it to somebody who did EVP. And then the mommy one is what she got when she slowed it down or sped it up, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is its original format, and then the mommy one is it being rendered.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. Altered. Okay. So we'll play this first one here. What is this sound? What is this sound, folks?
Every.
So you can hear.
Every.
To me, it sounds like it says "I think."
Yeah. It's quick. It's
But
boom
you
boom,
can
like
hear
you said.
Chris's voice just in the background, but obviously that is not a human voice.
No. If you don't mind, I'd like to play around with that one.
Sure.
To see if that has what I like to call a spirit vocal print instead of a regular human vocal print, which has the fossils, so to speak, vibrations. I've noticed when I'm processing EVP, I use Audition and I put them in there. And a lot of these captures, such as this, do not have any vibration. Of course, the spirit doesn't have any vibration,
Right.
but they're clear. They're basically blocks, just yellow blocks, and there's no vibration in the on the frequency analysis in Audition. It's pretty amazing to look at. So I'd like to check that one out in there too.
Absolutely.
That'd be interesting. But now slowing this down or speeding it up, whichever you have. Oh, my sister is here. Hang on, I've got to take a
You were
moment
going to
here.
do the mommy next because the mommy is the same one, but they've done something to it.
But she did something to it, and we're going to do that right after I say hello to my beautiful sister Tanya, who has joined us a little late. But how you doing, Stubbs? Okay, back to this now, mommy. This is the same one as we just aired, folks. The same one we just played, which I'll play it again and then play this one. That way you can hear the differences maybe better. But this one has been slowed down.
Sped up, I think.
Sped up. So what we're going to do is play the first one again.
Every.
And I can hear mommy. Okay. Now, was it because that was suggested? Perhaps. I don't know. But I can hear the one syllable word mommy or two syllable word mommy. You can hear the beginning and ending. It's quick. It's very fast. You know, maybe it could be slowed down. I'd really like to look at this one. This one I'd really like to look at.
I mean, it's different from like the other EVP because this was completely spontaneous, the same as on that little video clip.
And that is why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Sheila, that they just kind of show up when you least expect it? When we're not really paying attention is normally when these things happen, when we're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Is it because we're not supposed to kind of dabble, see, understand this kind of thing? Or do you think it's just Spirit's way of saying, ha, 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 ha?
Maybe. I didn't know about either of them until afterwards when I played them back, as I guess is so often the case.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's got a gibberish behind it,
No.
like the ones with, that Alyssa did that were so great. But this is just a different kind of EVP.
It is a different kind, and it's one that stands out. One that it's something someone is trying to get through there, and maybe they're not powerful enough to get through clearly enough yet. I think they have different levels over there. They have to learn how to do this, learn how to do that. I don't know. But but there's so much involved with the audio of capturing one of these and in analyzing it, as you know. A lot goes into this. And to see, I can't wait to dive into this particular file, because just to see how it works, how it operates, and what it says right there where mommy is being said. Because something like that, if you get the proper analysis and it's complete, it's done, that could be closure for an individual right there. Those words right there, mommy, could be closure.
I heard mommy years before. I don't need closure because I understood what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that doesn't mean that I didn't grieve and have a horrible time like any mother would.
Of course.
But because I understood the situation, when that when that detective called me that morning, I had talked to my daughter the day before, and she was unhappy with Tom, and that was a long whole story, but she was going to come up and stay with me and figure out what to do and how to leave him. And then that night, she called me about something else, and she sounded fine. And I said, I'm out to dinner right now with my husband, Bill. Can we talk in the morning? And she said, yes, fine. And the next morning, while I was getting ready to go on a trip, I got a phone call on my cell phone, and this was in 2000. So not a phone calls on your cell phone are not the thing all the time.
Not cheap either.
And when I answered, I didn't get what the guy said because I was in a hurry, and he asked for my ex-husband. Is Ken Lowe there? And I said, why are you calling my cell phone asking for somebody I've been divorced from for 20 years?
Wow.
And he said, do you know Jennifer Lowe? And I said, that's my daughter. Why? And never mind. I won't. If you want to read the story, you can read the story. But basically, he said, I'm sorry to tell you, your daughter's been murdered. And, how do you tell somebody that? But I told him I was on my cell phone. I'm glad I wasn't driving. And I don't know why I went down that track. I completely sidetracked myself.
No, it's okay. It had to be said. There was a reason it had to be said. It connected with everything else that you've had your closure and know.
Well, I said at the time, we were talking about closure. Mm-hmm. And I immediately, I just looked at the phone and I thought, this must be some kind of joke. And I said, hold on, I'll call my husband. And it was a Saturday morning, so he was home from work. And I called him in. And when I handed him the phone, I said, is it Tom? Was it Tom? And of course it was Tom. And just immediately I accepted it, as the horror of it, but I accepted it right away. And I think because she never believed that she was going to live a long life. When she was 13, she believed she would die before she was 18.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think, maybe they had a soul contract, which doesn't make it any better or easier. But yeah, so it's not something I've ever really been concerned with.
Yeah, I can understand now. I can understand now. Thank you. That makes sense.
A lot of people do need closure like that, but
yeah. And what you've gone through and what it has done for you. Let's discuss this. What it's done for you, how it's made you stronger. It's made you more open-minded. I think it's made you a beacon for spirit. I think they have ways of coming through you. It's just, and it's incredible to meet people like that because you can tell immediately in their personalities that is what's happening. There's no blowing smoke. There's no reason to blow smoke. You are who you are, and you become what you become because of it. And to get into this field is tough, Sheila. And to stay in this field is even tougher for a lot of people. It gets pretty dramatic in here. But to come to a place such as this and share your knowledge, I can't thank you enough, because this field needs knowledge. It needs constant knowledge because it's ever changing. Technology has grown leaps and bounds way beyond our capabilities. I think AI is involved now, and Lord only knows how far that's going to take us in this field. But it's modernized, it's different, and we all have to adapt to it whether we like to or not. I mean, some people just don't like change. I was one of them. I'm as stubborn as an ox, but I've opened my mind more to communications such as this, to communications such as what Alyssa does as well. That was a mind-blowing experience right there. And this stuff is
Yes.
completely possible, folks. And what I want to do before we run out of time here, we have a special video. I screwed up earlier, folks, and played that out of cue because I didn't have the images. It's okay. Mark's going to feel sick about it. It's okay, Mark. I still love you, my friend. but,
Same thing again.
but we do, we do have this video we're going to play, and it's of a special session that happened. Explain this and your relation to Alyssa and what happened.
Well, I just met Alyssa on a phone on Monday night, and I had seen her. I'm not sure if I saw her on your show first or on Tony Rathman's show, and but one or the other. So I was aware of her, and gosh, I don't know. Somehow we got in touch, and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm just stumbling because I can't."
No, take your time.
Matter. It's not important.
Now.
But she offered to see if she could get EVP from my cat. And my cat was asleep here, and so we did it spontaneously. And I asked 3 different questions, and Lexi came up with some answers, and one was kind of sassy because, which Alyssa said, because, and I'll just tell you what it happened that day. I think it was Monday. Yeah. I had gone out to lunch with my son who was doing some work for me, and we had a prime rib sandwich.
Oh, yum.
It was really good, and I brought half of it home, and I had shared some of it with my cat Lexi for dinner. And there was a piece of the meat. It was kind of gristly, and she left it in her bowl. And she refers to it in this.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So she refers to the gristly meat in her bowl, and this is in this as well. This clip. Okay.
Yeah, the first question I had asked was about a woman who had been a roommate and left a few months ago, and Lexi was very close to her. So I was asking if, how she felt about that.
Okay. Now that it's been properly explained, folks, we're going to play this again. We're going to play this again now that it's going to make more sense to you. Let us know what you folks think.
Things. Are we? I think we're talking about. If you're talking about the video you played before, that was when I was speaking at the. So I'm completely confused by this point. That is not Alyssa's EVP with my cat. Sorry about that.
I don't think I have Alyssa's EVP with your cat then, because I got 5 files sent to me. 5 files sent to me, folks. I mean, these things happen. Welcome to live radio, folks. Enjoy it. But these things happen, and Mark's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me, Sheila. But you know what? You know what? You know what that means? As I said before, everything happens for a reason, right?
Sure.
That's all the reason to have you back, so we can get all these lined out and properly display them out there. And, maybe even, at that time, get Alyssa on here with you during that time.
Sure.
If she could slot that time in, so you guys can talk about that session, because it's to me, that new technology it's absolutely incredible. And I think, you as well, my goodness, your experiences, your strength, it's motivating in itself. That helps keep me going. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And for anybody that wants to reach you here and get in touch with you, they have any questions, they've been very, very quiet here. We've got, my goodness.
We didn't put them
Got
to sleep, did we?
No. We've got a few of them in there. But yeah, they're talking about the file we played there. It says, Evelyn's saying, okay, mommy, definitely. Now, the first sounds like a really slowed down mommy.
Mhm.
And it very well could be, Evelyn, very well could be. I want to take a look at that. And I'll definitely let everybody know, let Sheila know, of course, too. But if you could let everybody know how they can get in touch with you out there, social media, websites, anything like that, the mic is yours, Sheila. Get your book out there, too, because that's very important.
Oh, thank you. And
You're welcome.
you were kind enough to mention my forensic mysteries, but I also have started writing a paranormal suspense series too.
Ooh.
Yeah, the last one is called The Last Door.
Ooh.
And I'm happy to send it to you. It's about two twin sisters who inherit a Victorian mansion in Big Sur from a stranger. And what they find out changes everything they knew about their lives. And there are ghosts.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. And
So
how can they get in touch with you?
I have two websites. One is just my name, SheilaLowe.com. That one's about handwriting analysis. And then the other one is SheilaLoweBooks.com, obviously about my books. And I just had that one redone and has a really cool homepage. So you got to see it.
SheilaLowe.com. Let me get that in here.
I am
real quick.
I have an author page on Facebook. And if anybody wants to email me, it's just my first name, Sheila, at SheilaLowe.com.
That's simple, and it goes across there. I just put the link in the comments for you fine folks. And Sheila, if you could just hang backstage for just 1 second, I'm going to wrap up here, and I'm going to talk with you for a second, if you don't mind.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing talking with you.
And you.
And there she was, Sheila Lowe, folks. My goodness, what a lot of fun that was. What an entertaining show. What an educational show. I told you we were all going to screw up and learn something. I mean, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we're going to be here again next week. Those of you folks that missed the first part of the show, welcome to the show. But we're on our way out here. But everything can be found right there on the website, evpexplorations.com. Free courses, articles, shows to watch and learn from. You've got everything you need right there to get you started in this field, get you a damn good foundation to get started in this field. And those of you getting out in this field, doing any investigations coming up, be careful, stay safe, use common sense, and most of all, use respect. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, even a more phenomenal weekend and a safe weekend. Happy Juneteenth to all of you fine folks out there. Now, next week, full schedule, find it on the website, evpexplorations.com. From all of us here, EVP Explorations and Sacred Spiral Network, take care. We'll see you next week.